But the senator, while indoctrinated, could not explain his toxicity.
Hello, everybody. Sorry for the late start, but we are live. Welcome to Honey Badger Radio. This is This Week in Culture War. So I was going to have another show. I had a plan on having an interview with Helen Pluckrose. She's one of the women that wrote she's the woman that's part of that team that wrote those fake grievance studies that we're like circulating. I don't know if you know that story. If you know that, but I got an interview with her, but she's not going to be able to come on until next week. So I had to kind of like put something together for today, but I do have something. Lauren Brooks and my wife were willing to come on the show and basically just go through a couple of funny videos I found on Facebook. So I thought this could be fun to do. So I want to first off, thanks Lauren and Lindsay for coming on. So how are you doing today, Lauren?
Of course, I'm doing great. How are you? It's Friday. I just got paid. I'm home. I'm chilling. I'm so happy right now. Life is wonderful. How are you guys doing?
Oh, whoa. What time is it where you are? I think, did you already start? Because I didn't get a chance to start yet. I was going to wait until after the stream. We were talking about weed earlier. Oh. We're joking about that. Oh. Are you good? Is what I'm asking.
I'm good. I'm more than good.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, yeah, that chewing sound you might hear, that's JoJo. He's here with us, but we gave him a bone to keep him busy, so he's kind of gnawing on that. So, apologize for the background sound, but it's better than having a dog like JoJo barking his ass off. He has one of those barks that like breaks your ears, so it's just better that he's chewing on a bone right now. So I showed Lauren these videos. I gave her the links to them. These are just some funny things that were going around on Facebook. We don't usually do a lot of Facebook videos because the YouTube ones are the ones that tend to circulate more in like within HBR. So I found these funny, and all I did was look for them. I was like, oh, I wonder what HuffPuff's Women is up to. You know, that's all you got to do, like, is basically just see what they got going on. And
yes.
Yeah, and it can be a lot of fun. So welcome to the stream. Also, be sure to, if you are watching this on the main channel, Honey Badger Radio, go over to Badger Live Streams. That's where the chat is at. That's where the super chats are. That's where the party is. Just come over to Badger Live Streams and subscribe to that channel because that's where the live shows go. It should be a lot of fun. So welcome, everybody. Let's take a look at this first video is by Huffington Post Women, and it is about the Google workers that staged a walkout. So I got this story from the BBC. Google staff walk out over women's treatment. So the staff at Google offices around the world have staged an unprecedented series of walkouts in protest at the company's treatment of women, of women.
That email that we went over on Honey Badger News, I think it's called now. I don't even know.
The Breaking Badger, yeah.
No, it wasn't Breaking Badger.
Oh, the regular news show.
The regular news show.
That's right.
It was like foreshadowing this. I think they were trying to prevent it with that email.
Yes, that's right. So on our news show, they fired like 28 people at Google. Mm-hmm. Was it more?
Wow.
It was like
48 people over the last 2 years, if I remember right.
Yeah, over accusations of sexual impropriety, sexual harassment, sexual misconduct. And I guess it was like a PR disaster waiting to happen. And now there's a bunch of staff that are walking out. So, but let's look at the video here. Now, Lauren, you're getting a little bit of echo when you talk. And so we're going to try to see if we can get this to work without being too annoying. Otherwise, we have to work something else out. So if you guys can hear everything okay, let me know if the sound is good. So, but let's listen to a bit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give Lauren first dibs on any commentary she wants to make. And then we can, like, you know, say some stuff too if we want to. So, all right. You good with that, Lauren?
Let's do it.
All right. Here we go then.
every person who shows up to work at Google is an equal member of our community and deserves to be respected, protected, and safe at work.
All right, so just to read what's on the screen, because Lauren couldn't see it, basically the issue is that even though they fired people, they gave these high-ranking employees hefty severance packages.
Only one, as far as we know.
Yeah, but the way that the Huffington Post women words it is it says several high-profile executives accused of sexual assault were fired, and they were given severance packages. And as we know, you're not supposed to give when somebody's accused of sexual assault, their life should be ruined. So there should be no bouncing back from that.
I mean, what more do you want from these guys? You're ruining their career potentially, for the rest of their lives. I mean, you can't leave a job like that. Well, I mean, I guess if they're signing some kind of contract, then yeah, I guess the circumstances surrounding your departure can be held, can be held as,
yeah, sure.
Secret. But really, you're mad because they're taking part of their contract with them when they leave? Fuck off. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
You got what you wanted. You're getting these guys are leaving. They're getting up out of there. Fine. But you're trying to deny them the remainder of their legal contracts? Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yes. Yes. Do you have any thoughts on this?
No, I forget the guy's name, but I guess the information about him getting a huge severance package, it was released to the New York Times. And that's where this is all coming from. I forget his name. He probably...
Wait, are you saying the press does this stuff? They're a part of this problem?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He probably invented some big thing in Google, right? Or coded something.
He was a big...
That was rather important to their...
Something that made Google a part of what they are now. He could have been behind the search engine or something.
Yeah, he got 9 million or 90 million or something.
That's probably a drop in the bucket for that company, though. But Lauren, go ahead.
Now, mind you, the idea of these guys just getting completely greased down with cash, it's disgusting. It's not something that makes me feel good. But if that is what is in their contract legally, who the hell is anyone to deny them, what they're due? So, I mean, I get it. I don't like it. I don't have to like it.
There is that. But, here's the thing, though. To my knowledge, these people are people who have been accused, not convicted, not found guilty, of sexual misconduct, not rape, not even harassment. Because if it was rape, or if it was harassment, okay, Huffington Post women would have called it rape if it was rape. If it was sexual harassment or if it was sexual assault, they would have called it that. In fact, they would have taken it a step further than what it was. For example, the Brock Turner case as an example. What occurred was deemed by, the people that essentially passed the sentence and made the conviction, they called it sexual assault. But that's the only thing you can convict somebody on, right? Sexual harassment isn't against the law. Sexual assault is. But the mainstream media, the feminists, the academics, the people, that are the social justice warriors, they called it a rape. So they took it a step further. So if the Huffington Post women is just calling this sexual misconduct, then what sounds to me like what happened, and I say this as somebody who has experience as a manager. I used to manage stores, and I used to deal with sexual harassment claims in the workplace. Is they had to fire him because there was no other way. They couldn't keep him there because it would have caused more problems. It would have been a PR disaster, right? So they fired the guy, but they likely didn't have a whole lot of evidence. Or at the very least, there was nothing so disgusting happening that, that would have allowed them to break some kind of contract. So I think generally if you fire somebody, especially if you just do it out of the blue, you can't just leave them high and dry. I think that there's something should come with it, especially a really big company.
So he is the creator of Android.
The creator of Android.
Well, they call him father of Android, and they paid him $90 million.
Yeah.
And he was fired from Google 2 years ago. This is
way before Me Too and all that.
Yeah. Well, I'm fine. I don't have to do anything for the rest of my life. I'm good. Okay.
It was in 2014. Oh, okay. What was that now? You said what? You have an Apple?
90 million? I'm good. I'll take it.
Yeah, 90 million. I know, right? That's a boo-hoo. But like, seriously, though, you know, even though, 90 million is a lot of dollars and I could use that, like, a fucking fraction of that. The point is, though, that people are mad that he was given the severance package at all. And of course, this is not even just 2 years ago. As Lindsay said, it was in 2014, so that was 4 years ago.
They say he left Google, but I don't know if that's,
Well, they probably offered him that if he would leave, because this is usually how it works out. You know, someone makes an accusation. A woman makes an accusation of sexual harassment. Okay, the company, because they have a human resources department, but even without that, they have to take it seriously. They've been conditioned to have to take it seriously no matter what. And it's got nothing, it's so difficult to actually like confirm most of the time that you're acting on, his word against hers or vice versa.
Yeah.
And so like when I used to work, I had to fire people because I was told to do it from on high by people who don't actually work in my store but own, like they operate the company, like a regional manager or something would say, you know what, it's not worth the hassle, just fire the guy. And I would have to do it without the knowledge of whether or not he was guilty of anything. And so, and there were women who would make the accusation because they didn't like the person. They just decided to do it, or they dated them for a while at work and then they broke up and then the woman is like, I can't be around him now, and so you have to fire them, right?
That's why, Jesus Christ, people, just don't shit where you eat. I don't understand this need to find a spouse where you work. I mean, Jesus Christ, are you miserable enough during your life? You want to add on to that? Come on.
Yeah, for sure.
Just why, if you like your job, if you want to keep your job, why would you want any extra, anything, any stress, just open yourself up to liabilities. And if you don't want to lose your job, it's just not a good idea. Don't fuck around with people that you work with. Just don't do it. There are people there's pussy. Just go outside, man. There's a building down the block. There's plenty of pussy down there. Go get that. Don't mess with the ones that are in your building. It's just a bad idea. You have to stay career focused and career minded, and just getting distracted from that is a bad idea all around.
Well, that's unfortunately a pretty high percentage of people actually pair up at their job. It's actually a really high statistic. So
I know, and I get it. Trust me, I get it. But
I say the same thing, and people push back on me all the time.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why you're looking at me like this, but like we didn't work together until after, so Okay. Well, anyway, let's continue the video.
Okay.
I don't think Google has been an outlier, and I don't think that that's a good thing. I think Google should strive to be an outlier. Like, letting accused executives quietly walk away with buckets full of cash is standard, and it really should not be.
I'm here to show solidarity with other Googlers and contractors to protest sexual harassment.
Holy shit, does anybody at Google actually work? Okay, Lauren, do you want to say anything about this so far, or I just I'm gonna let you, if you want to comment. I have something to say, but I want to know if you have something to say first.
I just think it's hilarious. They got Me Too. They Me Too'd themselves, and now Google's out of their job.
It's true.
They Me Too'd everybody out of the building. Good job.
Yeah, like what? Okay, so like what happened when the biggest tech company in the world becomes like the workplace itself is just like a place where people act like college students, where they protest and they stand in solidarity and they hold up signs. It's like, don't you guys have, like, you guys run the biggest tech company in the world that I know of. Anyway, I don't think there's anything bigger than Google. I mean, except maybe the company that owns them. And you're doing this fucking, like, college sophomore shit. Like, stand in solidarity with the what? With who? With the women against sexual harassment? The company that says don't be evil? Or used to? It's so childish.
I mean, exactly, you know, and if that's the way you really feel about it, if you really feel that strongly about Google and their hiring and firing practices, then just go away. Then just quit and don't work there anymore. Don't stand outside and make a big stink. You want them to, as far as we can tell, they are addressing the situation. Y'all just don't like that some people are leaving with severance packages. And I'm sorry, too bad, so sad. That's the way it goes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Adjust the rules to make you feel better about the shit. That's not how shit works. Sorry.
No, and you know, that seems to me that's the real problem. It's not actually about the sexual misconduct. It's not actually. It's about the money. It's about the money, and it's about, like, I mean, like, aside from that, I don't see, you know, what this sort of makes me think about is like Louis C.K. and other comedians that have been accused of, or, you know, of just not even doing anything illegal, just doing shit that's weird and makes women uncomfortable.
Me Too in the gray areas.
Yeah, Me Too in the really gray areas.
It's the same thing. They say, like, this guy, I forget his name already, Andy Rubin, I think. They say that he coerced a woman to give him oral sex. Coerced, right? Yeah,
talked her into it. Like what? By waving $90 million in front of her? I mean, like, what? But nonetheless, like, but here's the thing. What I'm trying to get at with this Louis C.K. thing is, it's like Louis C.K. does that, and also Aziz Ansari, he has his story, right? And then they're out of the public eye for a while, and then they quietly try to re-enter so they can, you know, like, because that's their job, because they want to have a living, because they want to make money, they want to survive, so they try to re-enter, you know, like comedy or whatever their field is. And then these people, they're saying, Louis C.K. should never be able to work again. Like, they get so mad that people want jobs and money and, like, food and roofs over their heads. Instead, they should be homeless and penniless and die because they want to jerk off in front of women or whatever, you know, because they coerce them. That's the thing. Like, they don't have an end. They don't have a win condition. It's just destroy these people forever. Yeah. That they don't want them to come back. That's why when these guys are, like, leaving Google with a severance package, and it's funny because this is exactly how feminists work. They always look at the people at the very top and they think that that is an example of everyone else. So they see the one guy who left with $90 million, who created Android, right? Or at least was, like, very, very involved with that product. And they look at what he's leaving with, and they think that's what all the men who are leaving Google and many other companies are actually leaving with. And they shouldn't be allowed to have that, and they should never, ever be able to, like, have anything. Like, they should just be, what, put him in prison and throw away the key. Because what? He talked a girl into blowing him, you know?
Exactly. Like... You got harassed by Steve for marketing. You didn't get harassed by the VP of anything. You know, let's be realistic about this, bitch. Come on.
It's all envy. It's all jealousy. It's just like, oh, that guy, he got fired and he got 90 million. That's crazy. I'm in the mailroom. And that just isn't fair, you know? Yeah. All right, let me play the next bit.
This is it. Time is up. We're just getting started, and we want to bring all of you along with us. Time is up! 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 Time is up!
So they're going to take a much harder line stance on sexual harassment. Okay. Lauren, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah. No.
Lindsay, do you have any thoughts?
We're gonna get more new graduates to go into their HR department, I guess.
Yeah.
They're gonna kill themselves. Like Google will eat themselves with this. It will be the death of their company. I don't have a huge problem with that. Like, it'd be nice to see some competition, but if they go down this road, like the purity spiraling, the whole, like, if they go down this road, if they go down the road of believe whammons, and they take a harder line against sexual misconduct, and they fire people, like they have like a zero tolerance policy or something like that, they will be firing people left and right at that company. And there will be people that will get people fired just so they can rise in the ranks, which means they'll have less competent people at higher ranks, and they will destroy themselves.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why for me there's nothing to say. I just want to sit back and laugh and watch it happen because it's inevitable at this point. They are falling into the black hole, so to speak. So
yes. Let me read the super chats that we got because we got a couple. Frank Tomeo gives us $2 Canadian and says Huffington Post is ass cancer. Absolutely. But funny ass cancer. Like, I'm getting a chuckle out of this. Albert Nada gives us $10 Canadian and says Charlize Theron. I understand that she's actually African American. Rusty Schwimmer and Nikki Caro openly admitted to harassing men on the set of North Country and still have careers. But an accusation can ruin these guys' lives. What a joke. Women can't harass. Pfft, come on. Google's going to be all women, and like that it's going to be all women. That if they keep it up, that's all it's going to be, all women. They Call Me Mags gives us $10 and says the robots already run Google. The meat bags are just there to use the slides and the foosball tables. Yeah, really.
That's good. That's good.
Frank Tomeo gives us $2 Canadian and says, do they do any work at Google? I have no idea. I understand it's considered a super cushy job. Like, they have fucking masseuses and like...
And foosball tables.
Yeah, and foosball tables. Yeah, it's like Ricky Schroeder's apartment in the whole company, though. You know, only 80s kids will get that reference, sadly. Silver spoons? Anybody? No? Okay,
yes.
Oh, okay, you
You're
get it.
not
Okay,
alone.
yeah. Yeah, I thank you for not making me feel too old. Okay, so Hokey Bukisa gives us $2 and says Gibbs link to terrorist super chat. What? Okay. I don't know what that means, but all right, so we're going to move on to the next video. So this one is about Title IX. Lauren, do you know much about Title IX?
I know a bit, not too much. But let's get into this video because this one is a good one.
Okay, all right. Well, Title IX basically was a rule introduced to universities that essentially it was intended to make sure that clubs or groups or organizations made within the college have equal representation and do not discriminate. Okay, and but the thing is, as an unfortunate consequence of that, it has become a tool to use to essentially destroy young men's lives through sexual assault claims made by women and girls in colleges that destroy men because they subvert the legal system. They don't go to the police; they go to the university. Right, and the university expels boys, suspends them, takes away their scholarships, ruins them. And then almost like, you know, the problem with this is it's kangaroo courts and, you know, they subvert due process. It's just ruinous. And this administration, thanks to Betsy DeVos, they're trying to reverse Title IX, which they should. This came about as a consequence of the Dear Colleague letter that Obama put in during his administration, which is how we got into the sexual assault stuff. So, all right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now I remember that, and I know that Title IX is ruining men's lives. But what I did not understand is the correlation of what you said in the beginning is how it was instituted to ensure gender equality in different groups. You said.
Yeah, it was
right?
like, for example, if you put together a club, then they're saying that there has to be like a certain number of women represented, things like that. And so, like, if you don't meet that, then the club can't exist. And I forget, like, I know Hannah's talked about it lots of ways, but it's become evolved into a way in which essentially the universities can get around the whole that pesky due process police thing, the legal system, right? And they just handle it internally. You know, and I think there's other reasons for this that are financial on part of universities, but yeah. Let me do a super chat here real quick before I get into this video. Daniel Patterson gives us $5 Australian and says, some dudes say something that offended you, accuse them of rape, and ruin their life. It's bullcrap. We need to actually check for proof. Well, thank you, Mr. Patterson. And I agree, but I agree with that. Okay, so we're going to play.
Sexual violence is the most extreme form of gender-based discrimination. Title IX is one of the most important pieces of legislation for equality. It says that schools have an obligation to create a discrimination-free environment for everybody, including women, girls.
I'm just pausing for the banana, but if you want to say something, Lauren, start talking and I'll pause the video, okay?
Yes, I do. Okay.
Right now? Right now?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. Okay. The most glaring thing to me is the distinction between sexual discrimination and sexual assault. Okay. Stating that because you are sexually assaulted that you are discriminated against. Those are two completely different things. Like a professor discriminating against
therein lies the rub. Therein lies the rub, but go on.
Exactly. So a professor discriminating against you based on your sex is one thing. Being sexually assaulted is something completely different. So now not only are we skewing the numbers on sexual assault on campus, now we're also conflating the difference between what is discrimination and what is actually sexual assault. That to me sticks out like the biggest red flag. So that's that I would like to say about that. And I forgot what the other thing is that I wanted to say. I'm sure I will remember it later. So let's.
That's okay. That's okay.
Gender non-conforming people, both cis and trans girls. If you've been a survivor and it's affecting your right to your education, you have the right for accommodations. That can include anything from removing where your dorm is and where you're staying to being transferred to a different class.
So that's where it is. So basically it's like they're using the sexual discrimination aspect of Title IX to essentially it's opening up for exploitation on different levels. And she thinks that this is super important, but this is ruining people, especially boys, especially.
Yeah.
Or perhaps getting extra time to finish a project, because sexual assault is extremely traumatic. The best comparison is PTSD.
What was with the zipper? Was that supposed to be like a dick coming out? Or what was that? Let me go back a little bit. What was that? That was weird.
Finish a project, because sexual assault is extremely traumatic.
What?
Triggered.
What was that? That could have been. Was that a jacket? What was that? I got it one more time. I got to see that.
Assault is extremely traumatic. The best comparison.
I'm a little
is
traumatized by how
PTSD.
close that was. I don't know what. Like, who decided that was like? Here's what we need at this moment. We need a zipper going down. Like, what? I'm sorry. That's a nitpick, I know, but just it freaks me out a bit.
That veterans experience. It is that traumatic. It is that serious. So you deserve everything.
So sexual assault is as bad as PTSD, guys. They're doing the PTSD comparison. Just you know. Have you ever been in a foxhole? Have you ever had a guy whistle at you in the hallway in college? Now that's a problem.
I will never understand this need to compare one to the other. Okay, PTSD is traumatic enough. Okay, being a victim of sexual assault, it's traumatic enough. Why do we have to compare the two and say, this one deserves more attention than the other, or we have to have more sympathy for one because sexual assault is just so much more traumatic. No, you deserve help. Let's allocate the funds to make sure that you get help, and everyone else who is a victim or survivor or whatever you would like to call yourself today, this month, this year, let's get you the help that you need. But let's stop with this, pitting one against the other. It's divisive, and it's taking away from the attention. It's taking the attention away from where it really needs to be, and I'm tired of it. So
yeah, I hear that. Did you want to say something? I have something I wanted to say, but
well, they're just working from the premise that women have it worse, and
that's true. They are just working from
and
that
they're
premise.
just so neglected, and people don't take them seriously, and
yeah,
you
know what? This is what I would want to say. Okay. I agree with Lauren that we shouldn't be trying to make it into a pissing contest of being a victim of sexual I think she actually says harassment, but let's be really generous and say rape. Being the victim of a violent rape is as traumatic as PTSD, as going to war and like watching all your friends die around you and somehow not dying, like and coming back alive. Let's go with that. I'll say that's probably not a good road to go down, but I don't think it's an accident that it's being used that way, because the only people who try to make those comparisons are feminists that try to make the argument that sexual assault is as bad as the PTSD from that is the same as the PTSD that a veteran experiences, right?
Yeah.
Because I've never heard a veteran say, I had to deal with like having to like fucking I was starving in the wilderness and I ate my friend because I had to do this to survive. Right. And you know what? That is just as bad as getting raped. Like, I've never heard a soldier or a veteran make the argument that PTSD is as bad as rape. I've only heard it the other way. I've only heard feminists say or claim that getting raped is as bad as, like being in the military and having experience some terrible shit. Okay. Now, that being said, I don't think it's constructive. I don't like that it's being made into a pissing contest, but I know why it is. Because if you want to elicit a response, then you have to like get to get the sympathy, you have to basically make it sound like the worst thing you can think of that a person could experience and survive through, and then compare that to something that you're also telling people is extremely common. Because people who experience PTSD, we don't know exactly what the numbers are, but I would imagine it's a minority amount of people. But when feminists talk about rape victims, what do they say? They say it's 1 in 5. They say it's everywhere. So that means that women are disproportionately experiencing post-traumatic stress disorder on a scale far outweighing that of veterans, and it's just as bad. Yeah. So they're basically compiling all this stuff to say women have it this much worse.
Yeah, and not to mention they're conflating it all together, right? Like, rape is the same as coercion, is the same as assault, is the same as harassment, it's the same as a guy slapping on the ass. This one time in the office, this guy like humped my leg.
Yeah, exactly. Did it really happen?
It did, yeah. I was
oh yeah,
on
Lindsay
the way
actually did have a guy hump her leg. Yeah.
Yeah, I just felt bad for him. I told him I was gonna get my spray bottle.
And then, but here's the thing that I'd like to know though, because I hear this argument a lot, but I'd really like to see the actual data. Is PTSD the same, like for a veteran, the same as a woman who's had, and even if it's a violent rape, I'm okay with like taking it as far as possible. Let's see what because Karen's been raped before, and she seems okay. I've never seen her have an episode, right?
I think PTSD is PTSD. Like it can come from like a traumatic event, right?
Yeah.
But some people have different responses to things too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I'd be curious to know what the scale is, I guess, if there's a difference.
Yeah. You'd have to be really sensitive to get PTSD from just like harassment or something.
You mean Melody Hensley. But
we are growing a I think this is probably the second generation now of snowflakes, if the first one even lasted. But, you know, language is important. Language is a tool. And the more you can manipulate what language means to everyone who's listening, the more you can control the narrative. The longer they get airtime going unchecked, the more you control people's ideas of what these terms mean, you know, and it means what they want you to think it means, which is what they're on air telling you right now, you know. And
on purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Until you can see one of them present a narrative and have it checked in real time, I don't think that we're ever gonna be able to, and we already know that we can't. You can't look to mainstream media and expect an honest dialogue about these things. It's not going to happen. But we just have to rely on each other, keep our eyes open, and our nose to the grindstone, and share this information when it comes out. And we have to talk about the reality of what these situations really are, because it's too easy to just have someone take control of the narrative and let it just get lost. And, I'm sick of it. We have to get together so we can make solutions instead of lying to each other and wasting time.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's a noble thing that you're saying, but you're also working under the assumption that these people want to solve problems. They don't want to solve problems. They want to use problems to rake in power and resources. That's all this is about. I'm sorry. It's all it's about. Okay, so we got a super chat by Frank Tomeo for $2 Canadian. He says, Laura Dunn should be done in. All right, thank you for that. Laura Dunn I looked her up real quick. She's a director, film director. Apparently she talks about gender violence and rape and shit. Really, really cheerful stuff. Okay, so let's continue this fantastic video by this well-spoken and totally not annoying sounding person.
Historically, Title IX was used to provide young women equal opportunities in sports, but it actually extends to these key areas. I was one of 2 students who spearheaded.
Just pausing for the banana. They just list off all the things, and so I think this is where they twist it to use it for sexual assault claims or whatever. So, all right, let's.
Hello.
Yeah. What's up?
Yay.
Oh, okay. You're here. All right. Did you drop?
Yeah.
Oh, you dropped. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna continue the video. No problem.
Okay.
That sexual harassment, sexual assault, domestic violence and anti-stalking policy for one of the largest universities in the US. Title IX, which is still the law of the land, says that every single person has the right to an education without gender-based discrimination. Ideally, it should rebalance the scales of justice so that girls and women are not treated like second-class citizens. Title IX.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, women, they're doing better in college than boys right now. They're graduating more often. They're getting in more often. They're getting more scholarships. They're getting more grants. But they're also being treated like second-class citizens.
And Title IX is the law of the land.
It's the only thing stopping them from just being treated like chattel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Isn't it only the law of the universities? Like,
she's saying, I think that, well, this is the thing. Like when feminists want to change anything, okay, it has to be something that is passed through. It has to be made law. It has to come from the top down, because they, as much as they hate hierarchies, they need them. They believe very strongly in them. They want to use them. That's why they always look at the top people in the top most areas of power, and that's who they criticize until they have the people they want up there. And this is the same. They see Title IX as a power play. It's not about...
Well, they're idiots, though, because I think MRA should use Title IX like against male discrimination. I think it's way easier to do so. Like, in this day and age, like,
yeah.
I mean, you probably have a case.
Well, you could if it wasn't for the fact that universities are all run by feminists, and they probably wouldn't see your case as a reflection of Title IX, because it's not actually law, it's a policy. It's really like more like it's a set of guidelines. It's things that you could use.
Well, I thought I heard a couple of cases about some guys going back after the universities against some of these Title IX adjudications that came down on them.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that worked out for them, though. I have to follow up.
Yeah, I really want to hear what happened to Paul Nungesser, the guy that got smeared by Mattress Girl.
I don't know. The Mattress Girl is still working. She's doing interviews. She's got like new projects in the works. I don't know what Paul Nungesser is. Maybe he has a regular job and he like makes decent enough money that he doesn't have to worry about that shit. I don't know.
Well, if he's still suing, I hope Godspeed, brother. I hope you get the justice that you deserve, because that is some bullshit.
Oh, I just heard that Paul Nungesser from Norman P. Chesterton, so an NPC helped us out. He wrote, Paul Nungesser won his case. He's back in Berlin now. Well, congratulations,
okay.
Paul. That's good.
Good for him.
Good for him. Become particularly important in holding universities and schools accountable for sexual assault that are often overlooked or ignored by the administration and campus police. All federally funded school districts are required to have a certified Title IX coordinator.
Also known as a vampire. Those are the people that's where this comes from, you know? Imagine, okay, every school is required to have a Title IX coordinator on their staff.
Our moral betters.
And they're the ones that are going to make sure that every woman takes advantage of every bit of oppression that comes across her desk, I guess. Like, not opportunity, because colleges don't do that. The only thing that protects women from becoming sex slaves is this thin and very fragile thing called Title IX. It's the only thing. And we haven't had it that long, but you see, that's not the point. So you require a Title IX coordinator. And what is a Title IX coordinator's job? Well, let's continue. Let's find out.
Yet, most Title IX coordinators do not receive the proper training on how to deal with cases of sexual violence, as well as how to identify them.
Go to the police.
I would take that up with your gender studies professor.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you take gender studies, you're not going to learn how to receive the proper training for how to deal with cases of sexual violence, especially when you've been conditioned to believe that everything you experience is sexual violence.
Exactly.
you're in a constant state of fucking PTSD. You know,
It's kind of a big job. You got to be like the judge, the juror, and
yeah, right.
Right.
That's
Right.
Oh my God.
Even when Title IX coordinators receive the adequate training, the current structure sets them up for failure. The whole point of Title IX coordinators is to shine a light on sexual violence, which most institutions don't want.
she just said the whole point of the Title IX coordinator is to shed light on sexual assault.
Yeah.
That's not what Title IX was for.
But that's what
They
it is.
even
That's
said
what
that
it's
at
for
the beginning
now.
of the video.
Yeah, but she knows that this is not all it is. It's about power, man. It's about replacing the like merit with quotas. And that means also like what better way to have more women in STEM when all the men are gone because you've accused them of sexual assault and then they got expelled. That's like the best way to equal things out. We'll level the playing field by getting rid of all these guys.
It's an insurance policy. I mean, shit, feminism by itself is taking men out of college, by the hundreds, thousands. I mean, come on. All they need is this to add on. It's like an insurance policy. Men, why, if you're a man, why do you want to go to college? Why would you want to enroll into anything, into a university? It's a danger zone. It is like a fucking minefield.
Yeah, on the plus side though, unless you're going into like a very specific career as a man, like in, computer science or in engineering or in you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a doctor.
Just don't make any jokes.
Yeah, if you really want to go into those kind of careers, you'll need to go to deal with the minefield of college. But maybe you can but otherwise though, maybe men should just go to fucking trade school and let the colleges all die on their humanities courses that cause them to just implode on themselves, which I'm pretty sure, they're on borrowed time, especially with the internet, because people are learning everything online now. And I don't know that universities are going to, this is me trying to be optimistic, but I don't know that they're going to be able to like, adapt fast enough, right?
No, they won't be viable for too long. And I do agree that young men and young women, but especially young men, I think need to go into trade work. Go into the trade works. You can make amazing money. You don't have to spend a lot of money to learn how to do it, to do a lot of these jobs, really, and a lot of these industries they're looking for guys to fill these jobs. They can't find people to do great jobs. You can make 6 figures a year working with your hands. I
Absolutely.
I work with my hands. I really want to work with my hands so that I can do that and not have to depend on an establishment to earn money. I can do it on my own. That's what everybody should be trying to do. But anyway,
and the money is really good. Yeah. So
yes, it is.
If you're a young man and you're not sure what you want to do with yourself, and you think you can just go to college, maybe you should look into something else. Trade schools are a lot cheaper. They'll teach you some very useful skills, and you will get paid very well because there are a lot of there's not a lot of people going into it. And I agree, it's not for everybody. But it might be for you, and maybe college isn't. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that college might not be for you.
Yeah, I wish more people were protecting STEM, though. I really do.
Yeah.
Because,
me too.
Not everybody can go into trades. Not everybody, is inclined to do so. And we need STEM. We need people to maintain our civilization.
Yeah, we do.
I agree.
We need to protect smart people in STEM. Which are mostly men.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sexist.
Or you could go to San Francisco and clean up shit for $70,000 a year. Hey.
I don't want to go to San Francisco. I only want to go there to sink it. Okay, so let's move on.
In the current system, we're asking Title IX coordinators to make their employers look bad. A better system would be to have Title IX coordinators report to an outside organization so that they're not afraid to do their jobs and speak out when the school or college they're working for violate Title IX.
How about the cops? I hear they're an organization that deals with sexual assault and rape. Yeah, I heard police can do that. Oh, but police are bad because Black Lives Matter and men and patriarchy and
You won't be
stuff.
suspended from school. You'll be in jail.
Yeah. But you also might be innocent.
Yeah.
Oh, man, they'd have to go through due process, and that's bad. That's bad. So, I don't know if there's much left in this video, but we'll go through the rest of it.
Betsy DeVos, the education secretary, made headlines when she rescinded guidelines that the Obama administration advised schools to follow. She said that schools should be unfair and use a separate set of standards for sex discrimination than they do for other forms of discrimination. Here's the
Okay, that's a very
What did
trickily worded way of interpreting what Betsy DeVos is doing.
What did she just say?
She said that Betsy DeVos said that schools should use a separate set of standards for sex discrimination than they do for other forms of discrimination. Thank you, Lag. And that it should be unfair. Basically, what she's saying is that men and women are different, and so
And not equal?
and not equal.
Okay.
No, I don't know that she said not equal, but like there's a difference between equality and fairness, right? And the thing is, she wants to get rid of the Dear Colleague letter. She wants to make it so that women in college can't just like, make accusations without due process. Essentially, she wants to take out using universities and Title IX
As a kangaroo
coordinators
court?
as a kangaroo court. She wants to eliminate that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I hope that she can. And these people are freaking out because they think that, I guess, see, they believe that women are such cowards and they're so weak that they can't actually go to the police when something happens to them. And so they think that Title IX coordinators are more qualified, although they just said that they're not very well trained, but they're more qualified than the cops to handle cases of sexual assault. They're better qualified, but they're also not trained well enough.
Not Twain.
Not Twain.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But you know what I'm saying? So she hates the fact that Betsy DeVos is essentially saying we should go with the people. If you're going to deal with these crimes, we already have something in place. We have cops, right? Mm-hmm. So, and yeah, it's on purpose. It's on purpose because they want to avoid due process. They want to be able to just convict people for whatever, They want more of these Steuben or the what is it? The Duke lacrosse stuff. They want that to happen more without the whole she was lying part. They just want the other stuff. They want the conviction, and they want the schools to do it.
They want power. They want the power. We know this. We know this. That's at the very baseline of every feminist agenda is power. They want the power.
Yep.
Having been in this arena for so many years, it just at this point it's really so easy to see, it's just trying to wake other people up to see it too is what gets frustrating every time you run into someone who just doesn't, they just don't get it. They just don't understand. They just haven't heard about this story and when that happened a couple of years ago, having these conversations is absolutely necessary, and that's why I appreciate you and everyone who's out here having the discussion open and honestly, and I think we need to have more of that. So yeah.
Hey, I agree. Thank you. I think it is good. There was something else I wanted to say about this. There's another thing about Title IX that I think is useful to these people. When a rape case or a sexual assault case comes out and it goes public, it's bad for the university, their business, right? Because then people, especially women students, they feel like it's unsafe to go to that school because something happened there. And it might men, and if it turns out that it's like false, the men feel unsafe because they're like, well, shit, I don't want to get falsely accused of going to school. But more so, I think it affects the universities worry that it's going to affect their bottom line, their ability to profit. So they would rather handle everything internally. The same thing goes for most businesses. That's why when a woman makes an accusation, Human Resources recommends that we just fire the guy who's accused right off the bat, and the management goes along with it because they're like, well, if people find out that this is going on, it's going to hurt our business. So it's kind of a combination, right? So, okay. So I'm going to play the rest of the video.
She doesn't have the power to do that. Unfortunately, her role as Education Secretary gives her the authority.
Also, just want to point out, she does say she doesn't have the power to do that, and that's in bold because that's all they care about. But anyway, moving on.
To enforce laws, but it does not give her the authority to interpret laws. That is the job of the Supreme Court.
Wait, the Supreme Court that Brett Kavanaugh is currently on? That one? The one that you guys are freaking out over?
Dun, dun, dun.
Brett Kavanaugh, the guy who gang rapes like with his crew and their beers? That's the guy? He's gonna... I'm sorry. We all know he doesn't do that, or at least I don't think so, but really? I mean, you should be freaking out over that. Like, you should be freaking out.
And the Supreme Court has ruled repeatedly that Title IX is the law of the land.
You should be happy about that. Isn't that what you want? Y'all want Title IX?
It is. They want it. I guess there's nothing to worry about. Brett is okay now. He's on their side.
Like what the fuck's your problem? Yep, Title IX. That's what you want. So what's your beef, bitch? You just don't like him. Well, I mean, he's kind of a Bush guy. So if you want to have an argument about Kavanaugh, we can. So, but anyway.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to say something else about this?
Every time she says it's the law of the land, I want to like break out into that guy. Know the law of the land.
Know the land. Know the law of the land.
Pope says stand up.
The Pope says stand up. Indigenous Americans. Yes, that's right. I forgot about that guy. Where are you? Know the land. Know the law of the land. Indelible in the hippocampus. Okay, Frank Tomeo gives us... Oh, I got a couple things. He gives us $2 Canadian and says, feminazis can't compete on a level playing field. Of course not. And then he gives us another $2 Canadian and says, more money for you, Brian. Well, thank you, Frank. Although this is not going to me. It's mostly going to Google. And then a little bit goes to Alison. Whatever's left. But thank you. Okay, so I got one more bonus thing that I thought was really funny that we could go through. And then we're going to go into an after show for a bit. Okay, so have you heard of this person? I don't know what she's going to say, but I wanted to hear this video. So this is Democratic candidate, somehow viable, Brianna Wu on medical marijuana. Oh yeah, so we're going to, let's hear this because I'm just curious.
80% of Democrats believe marijuana should be legalized. I was a skeptic, but it has certainly helped me. I'm a software engineer, and I'm best known as one of the women that stood up against the alt-right in Gamergate.
What? I like how you just open up with that. Like, oh, by the way, I'm best known for being a victim of something that doesn't exist. I'm best known for being one of the main women that was attacked by the Humulumpha monster. It's part elephant and part cloud. Oh my god. She is looking really bad. I mean, she started bad, but she's looking really bad. Okay. Woo. Let's go. She looks like one of them, one of the creatures from the Dark Crystal. That's what she looks like. All right, moving on.
People often have asked me about Gamergate and how I, got through it. No one's really asked me about the recovery from that. Like, Brianna, how did you get over PTSD? How did you move forward? I
expected you to be a perpetual victim.
Yeah. I thought this was about medical marijuana. She like crams her story. Do people really ask her, or does she like walk around offering to tell people about it? That's what I want to know. Hey, do you want to hear about my experience with Gamergate? No, bitch. You told us that story. You ever know that person? They keep telling you the same story over and over. Like, and it's like they think that they're telling you the story for the first time. That I bet is her. Like, if you hang out with her, she's gonna tell that story again. Oh, did you hear about when I was harassed by the alt-right in Gamergate? I was their favorite person. Just a joke.
And saw a post-traumatic stress specialist in Massachusetts. The day I saw her, my hands were shaking so bad from the death threats I was still getting. I was not functioning very well. And I worked with her in therapy really intensely for a year. And she came to me and she said, for you to get to this next level, you're going to need to get some medical help for this.
So it sounds like she's a wreck. And she also wants you to vote for her in 2018.
PTSD from Twitter? Is that
yeah, she suffered PTSD from Twitter, and she's running for Congress, and you should totally vote for her. Because she'll be a good candidate and can handle the stress of running a part of the country. Wow.
I'm somebody, I don't even drink alcohol.
Hey, Lauren, are you rustling or fidgeting with your microphone or something?
Sorry, I will. But go ahead.
Okay. No, if you can, because it comes through and it's not on our end, but I think Lauren is fidgeting. So
I got you.
Do you need to?
No, I'm good.
Chilled out a little bit. Chill out a little bit. Okay. All right, we're good.
I run 5 or 6 miles a day. I tried marijuana a couple of times in my youth. I didn't really like it, but I did want to get better.
Did she say she runs 5 or 6 miles a day?
Yeah.
Do you think she runs 5 or 6 miles a day?
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, maybe. We haven't seen her. Maybe her legs are just like shredded up like a julienne salad. Just shredded up. But just up here, she looks kind of doughy. All right, moving on.
I went to a doctor and I got certified for medicinal marijuana in my state, and it was a unbelievably positive experience. What I found is that helped me kind of turn down my brain from going like danger, like being on fire all the time, sensing threats, and kind of get to a part where I could focus and be less reactive. And it helped me get to a point where I think I'm a stronger leader and a stronger candidate today.
Okay, I'm just pausing for the effect.
If she's worried about death threats from Gamergate, running as a politician. I don't know, Brianna.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's gonna be fine. She's stronger now thanks to medicinal marijuana. Yeah. It's gonna make her invincible.
I'm kind of feeling her. I kind of want to hear her out on this. Let's see where she going with this, guys. Come on.
Yeah. I don't expect I'm gonna be enlightened, but yeah, let's find out.
She's smoking some weed now. Come on, let's go. Let's see.
I think there's so much value in politicians and public figures speaking about this honestly, and I think there's value in destigmatizing it.
Okay, well that was I mean, of course she's got to be pro-weed. Like that's like the easiest thing to make the case for regular people.
Yeah, it's fine unless you're Elon Musk, and then I'm like, Did on you.
Yeah. Oh my god. I hate that I have that in common with her, to be honest. It's like the weirdest thing. Brianna Wu's pro-weed. Fuck. I kind of want to quit.
Broken clock and such,
Yeah, right. Good Lord. I mean, there's a bunch of reasons to be for it, but that's a discussion for another video. It's not really a men's issue, although in a way you could say that it is, since most of the people who are in prison for weed are men. And yeah, that's. But you could make the argument, but I don't think it's necessary. So I got some super chats. The DCV Titan gives us $2 Canadian. Says she sounds like a wreck is her best endorsement. It could be the sub, like, part of the pitch. You know, Brianna Wu. She sounds like a wreck. But now that she's on weed, she's gonna be a stronger candidate. A stronger candidate thanks to weed. Brianna Wu 2018. She can, like, use her veteran status in the same way that John McCain used his. I'm a veteran of Gamergate. I survived the Twitter war of 2015 or whatever. Was it 2015, 2014? It was a hard fought, and now I'm on special medicinal marijuana, but I will be the candidate for you. I can't believe this is happening. You know, a part of me wants her to win, just because I think it would just be an interesting timeline if she did.
Yeah.
But I have family in Massachusetts, so I don't really want her to win because I want them to survive. I have a feeling that she'll somehow just kill everyone on the state. I don't know how, but I think she will. I think it'll be the death of everybody.
She'll be too high. Something like they'll come up with something. Oh my God, the city's on fire. She's like, dude, what?
I didn't realize
Shit, the city is lit, dude.
I didn't realize she was running in Massachusetts. She'll never win, dude. They're hella racist.
They're hella what?
They're hella racist, but they're all like people from Boston and Massachusetts in general. They don't like anything different, so I can't see them looking at Brianna Wu and saying, "Yeah, that looks like someone I can get behind." I don't see that.
I don't know. I honestly, this is crazier by far than Faith Goldie running for mayor of Toronto. I think that Faith Goldie has a chance, maybe, but like Brianna Wu running for, that's just, I don't know where that came from. I just think it's nuts. Yeah, vote Wu, marijuana and death, somebody wrote. Yeah, that's right. Die high.
Look at who we're talking about. There's a high level of neuroses there to begin with. So
yeah, for sure. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up, but I want to thank you for coming on this little thing that we put together. It's just trying to have a little bit of fun. We're gonna go into the after show and hang out with the others. I want to look at this Bolsonaro thing. So. Lauren, do you know who Bolsonaro is?
I don't know much about him. I just kind of know a little bit about what's going on in Brazil, and it's really interesting. So, yeah, I'm definitely down to stick around.
No, absolutely. Bolsonaro, for those of you guys who don't know, I think he's like president of Brazil now or something. Do they have presidents there? Mm-hmm. He's president of Brazil. And they're calling him essentially like the South American Trump. And but there's this fucking epic fucking video of him going after this feminist woman in a parking lot. I mean, it is just delicious. And if you haven't seen it, you gotta see it. We're going to go into the after show and check it out. So if you guys want to join us on the after show, you have to become a patron at www.patreon.com/honeybadgerradio. And the one level of patronage will let you watch the show. Another level will let you participate in the show. So I want to thank you guys. I see a couple more super chats, so I guess I'll read them real quick. Frank Tomeo gives us $2 Canadian and says, "Can she jump in front of a train? I hope so." Tatsumi Tui gives us $1.99 and says, "Help will reach the moon." Thank you for that. For those very, very generous donations. We're going to go ahead and go into the after show. I want to thank Lindsay and Lauren for coming on this week in Culture War. And I would especially want to thank you guys for tuning in and hanging out with us while we checked out these stories. Let us know what you guys think about these stories in the comments. Just having a little bit of fun today, but there was some interesting stuff dealing with the Google walkout as well as the Title IX argument, I guess you could say. I'm not really sure. And then maybe like a little on Brianna Wu's weed thing. So with that said, I have been Brian, and we'll talk to you guys very soon. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Yeah.